Hi guys, Jack Peach here from the Dynastic Dating Program, and I've got a very special interview to share with you from one of the alumni of the Dynastic Dating Program, Andrew, who's been so kind and gracious to put his face to this and be willing to be interviewed by me about his experience during the program. So I just want to say thank you very much, Andrew. Thanks for being here, and yeah, if you've got anything to say to the people just to start off.
Hey Jack, happy to help. Hey guys, like you, I was someone who struggled with dating at first, and I understand it's a really tough subject. Not a lot of guys want to open up about needing some assistance in there, but after quite a few years of not really seeming to find the right women or attracting the right woman, I decided, you know what, maybe it's something worth checking out, just see what's out there in terms of assistance. And for me, with my faith as a Christian, it was very important I find someone who wanted to work with me in that aspect rather than trying to go things in a very mainstream sort of way. So after a little bit of research, I found Jack's profile on Twitter, saw that a lot of his tweets really kind of hit home with where I felt I was struggling in my dating life, and decided to reach out to him with a video call and just hit the ground running, realized that he had a great program, was willing to work with me and my beliefs, didn't try to force me into a, one size fits all sort of dating program. And from there, everything just kind of took off.
Yeah, and for people who don't know as well, like Andrew, now we finished together working together. It wasn't that long ago. It was probably like 3 or 4 months ago we stopped working together, maybe six.
Yeah, about six
Um,
months.
it was about 6 months. I forget, time flies, it goes quick. But Andrew now, for people who don't know, he just got engaged. He just got engaged to the woman he met whilst we worked together as well. And I before we get to that, I want to just quickly go back to the beginning of that. Do you remember like specifically what it was like in your dating life which made you feel a little bit stuck? What was it specifically that made you feel like, okay, this is something I need help with, and I'm gonna, talk to Jack about this.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was really struggling and trying to present myself in the best light. I knew who I was, but I would either overthink things, tend to over-explain things, just didn't have a problem talking with women. It was just finding hard ways of actually connecting emotionally with someone that I found attractive or wanted to pursue in a romantic relationship or even thought was worth pursuing. And it really helped once I started the program being able to break down my interests, what I liked, what I was really looking for in someone. I mean, we all kind of have a broad idea of the type of woman we want to attract, but actually sitting down and thinking over exact details of what I was looking for really helped break down who I was and how best to present myself in a dating world.
Yeah, that's always a big thing. I think like one of the keys to any, because the goal, and I know your goal as well, and the goal of my program is to find relationships that hopefully last. And I think the real key to doing that a lot of people forget is it has to be aligned to you, right? It has to be true to you. Like if we're looking for something that's going to last for a long time, it can't be like for someone else. And finding that path, that method, and that person who's right for you is really, really key. Um, and in terms of, finding that particularly authentic role, did you feel like the program did actually suit that? Was that something that you got out of it, do you feel?
Oh, absolutely. I know it helped me improve in many different aspects, not just dating, but also in professional career, just feeling a lot more confident in who I was, making myself more confident in expressing opinions and beliefs rather than just being someone who kind of just played along and tried to get everyone's vibe of where they sat on things, but actually being willing to project who I was, my opinions, my beliefs, and just feeling more confident all around as a person rather than just in the dating world.
Yeah, for sure. And that's something that I hear a lot as well. The other guy that I've recorded this with, Jeremy, as well, has got like a couple of promotions since we worked together as well. And he didn't mention that in our interview, but he puts it down to the program. I know we spoke privately about that. In terms of, what you want, what you did want from life, from a relationship, as we mentioned, you are engaged now. Like how how do you think, what did we do to help you get to that point? Can you kind of maybe explain to people like what it was like from your perspective that we did that led you to this point here? What was it that in particular you think was maybe unusual or different that maybe you weren't expecting is probably a better way of phrasing it.
I was just really amazed at how comfortably everything flowed together when we finally started talking online and then when we met in person, just being able to feel comfortable being me. I didn't feel like there was anything I had to really pretend to be someone else. I just was able to be me. I was able to communicate in a more authentic and relatable way of interests, beliefs, what I wanted out of life, dreams, and so on. And just really being able to find ways of connecting, communicating, and rather than just asking questions and making dates feel like job interviews, they felt like a genuine interaction between two people who wanted to spend time together and wanted to get to know each other better on a very personal level.
Yeah, and I think one of the things to remember as well, and one thing that definitely in your case is it wasn't like you just got one date with one woman and that was it, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's like several times there were dates with other women. It would lead to a second date. Sometimes, if not most times, it would usually stall out right about there, realizing, okay, this isn't what we're both looking for, or there's just something here that's not clicking to where this isn't what we're looking for. But it was able to give me opportunities to see, okay, maybe this isn't the person that I'm looking for, and being able to end things amicably rather than really being left on the hook or anything, and being able to treat other these women as genuine people
Yeah.
with actual feelings that, hey, you know what, maybe this wasn't the way either of us wanted it to go at first, but that's dating. No hard feelings. Wish you all the best, and just keep looking until you find the right person. And hey, it happens.
Yeah, and I distinctly remember you having a situation like that with one woman as well. And I think as well what maybe differs from me from maybe some of the other people in this space is like the understanding that both, you know, there's two sides to every date, right? And sometimes we get quite focused in on ourselves and what's going on in our life, but we've also got to remember there's someone else on the other side of that. And that can be one of the reasons why you don't connect is because you just guys just, you know, are different people, not looking for the same things. But it's also a reminder that, you know, when things don't go perhaps as you would dream and anticipate, you also don't want to just hurt that person, or you don't want to blame them. You don't want to make it like, you know, like it's their fault or cause like this division. It's really important to treat them with that respect. And you were very good at that, I remember as well. Generally, you know, my clients do that with time, but sometimes that can take a little bit of transitioning to have that empathy. In terms of like specific results, like, you know, what kind of specific results did you find as a result of joining the program, or ending the program is probably a better way of putting it?
Well, definitely huge boost in confidence, being able to express myself, being able to communicate, not feeling that I had to alter any of my viewpoints or who I am as a person in order to please someone else. Just really any values and core beliefs that I had, being able to express those without making it seem awkward or preachy. It just really helped me figure out better ways of communicating in general rather than just, oh, this is applicable only for this scenario, but in almost any situation in life.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that's, you know, the tools, the results are downstream of the method, right? You know, if you get the process, I should say, if you get the process right, at some point you'll meet the right one, and you were very good in sticking to that and applying to that as well. And it's something I see constantly with guys, even guys who end up like not in relationships during the program. I'm always getting messages from guys like 6 months later, or like where they're in a good relationship, or a year later, and they're like, you know, the steps we took put that position. You were just also one of the great guys who did manage to do it during the program, which I think is also advantageous and probably something we should talk about as well. But how did you find, like, you know, since you've been in the relationship, have you found any of the stuff that we went through to be useful for you? Was there anything that you applied there? Maybe any of the frameworks in this specific kind of, for example, ways to communicate that we went through? Did that help you during the relationship as well, not just in the dating process?
Oh, absolutely. Especially the concept of holding space for one's emotions, being able to recognize what's really triggering emotional responses rather than just reacting to emotions in the moment, being able to recognize and empathize with her emotions as well. I mean, like you pointed out, it takes two to tango.
Mhm.
You mentioned that quite a few times in our video chats, and just realizing that, okay, if I'm feeling something, she's feeling it as well, and being able to really connect with that, even at times where it feels like, hey, this might be awkward or this might be stressful, realizing that, hey, if I'm feeling it, she's feeling it as well, maybe in a different way, but that's doesn't have to be something that, drives us apart. It can be something that grows us closer together.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. And we talked about this a little bit before as well, before we, started recording. This space has not always got the best reputation. Dating coaching in itself, it can sometimes, throw up warning flags for people. Why, or what would you say to someone who is wondering whether or not they should, whether they should trust me and what they should think? If they're hesitant about working with me, what would you say to someone who's on the fence about that?
I would say take the leap. It can be scary, especially, this is something that not a lot of people like to talk about. It's a very awkward scenario of reaching out for help, but realizing that, like with your program, what drew my eye is that you also had similar beliefs to myself. You didn't try to, make false promises like you see a lot of dating coaching ads where they promise, hey, you're going to get someone within 3 weeks of this program or so on. Like we're very honest up front about these are principles that when applied correctly and you're going to have to put in the work, it will lead to success, not just in this area of life, but it'll go downstream as well to other areas of life. But it's like you need to admit when you need help, which is the first step in reaching out. And you need to be disciplined in following these principles and just be authentic in applying them. And for anyone who's really on the fence about finding a dating coach and are looking at your program, I would say, yeah, it's going to be scary and awkward at first because it is an unknown,
Mhm.
but go for it. It's like the results I've seen in my own life, not just in personal life with dating, but in professional life as well. The results just have been tenfold of whatever I thought they were going to be.
Well, really appreciate that. I'm so happy to hear that. And, really thankful as well. You guys, moving forward, I'm really happy for you guys. You are engaged now, planning for the wedding,
Hmm.
which is a very exciting time, a little bit stressful, as you were saying as well. At times it can be, but that's part of the fun, part of the joy. Um, so yeah, I think that's a pretty good place to stop, Andrew. Again, really, really appreciate you taking the time to do this, and again, putting your face to it. I know, most of my clients don't want to put their face to it, which again is understandable. There's a little
Hmm.
bit of that, embarrassment or perhaps even shame attached to it. But I really appreciate you, moving past that, overcoming that, and being willing to really put your face to it. I appreciate it a lot, and I'm sure people listening to this as well. So it's meaningful to be able to understand you're not alone. You're
Hmm.
not the only person
Absolutely.
going through this, and there's no shame in getting help in any area of life, let alone especially one that's as important as your relationships. Um, so I don't know if you do have any final words for people at home, anything that you'd like to close up on, just a kind of little closing message for people.
Yeah, just don't be afraid to reach out and try something new, especially when it comes to dating coaching. Like, I love Jack's program. It helped me grow in multiple ways, more than just in the personal dating world, and I can't recommend it enough.
I appreciate that a lot, Andrew. So thank you everyone who did take the time to watch this as well. I hope to talk to you soon. But for now, we'll close it up there. So thank you again, Andrew, and we'll see you very soon.
All right, see you, Jack.